Hello again, crocheters. This is Sylvia with Crazy Cool Crochet, and in this project, this is one that I am super excited about. This is a crochet poncho with sleeves and turtleneck, and I hope you noticed in the photos that this is super flowy. It's a fairly simple project, a fairly simple pattern. So for this, I used a number 3 baby yarn. You can use any number 3. We'll need 2 crochet hooks for this one. We want to use a smaller hook for the cuffs and the turtleneck. So we're going with a 5mm and a 4.25mm. You can do a 4 if you don't have a 4.25. It's not crucial. Scissors and a yarn needle. Now I will be working from a swatch and with an entirely different color, obviously. This is just so it shows up better against the white. So for size small medium, we're going to start with a chain of 121. And then we're going to do the first row of a back loop only, single crochet starting in the second chain. And I'm going to redo that last one because it always shrinks up. Does that happen to you? Okay, so there's the first chain, there's the second. For the first and the last, it's okay to do it from the front rather than the back loop. It's just easier. Okay, so if you're looking at this straight on, that's what it looks like. And then if you turn this over a little bit, those little bumps in the back, that's your third loop or the back loop. Okay, so that one shows up real nice and easy. So we're just going to do a single crochet into that back loop. And you're working into every stitch, every chain. And then when you get to the end, you can just do a regular single crochet in the last chain. And we're doing it this way because we're not going to do any kind of a border when we're done with the panel. So this is a self border basically. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to work with extended single crochets. And yes, I do use that stitch quite a lot. And for this particular one, I wanted to use it because I want a flat panel, a flat stitch. I don't want this to be too textured. An extended single crochet I think is nicer and easier to work with than a single crochet. If you're going to do a whole panel of all single crochets, it might be too dense. And for this project, I wanted the poncho to be super flowy. So you're going to get that more easily with an extended single crochet, and let's go ahead and work that. So we're going to work into every stitch, starting with that very first one. So start as if for a single crochet with 2 loops on the hook, pull through 1 loop, 2 loops on the hook again, pull through 2, and then go into the very next space or stitch. 2 loops on the hook, pull through 1, pull through 2, go into the next one, pull through 1, pull through 2. Super easy. And this will give you a little bit longer single crochet. And again, that will give you more of a drape, a nicer drape than solid single crochets. So work this all the way across for 120 extended single crochets. At the end of row 2, chain 1 and turn. And of course you will chain 1 and turn at the end of every row. Now we're just going to repeat. So work your extended single crochet in the first stitch and in each stitch across. And you will continue this for the entirety of the panel. Here is the completed panel. You will do 2 identical, one for the front and one for the back. and you will work 52 rows. And a lot of people have a difficult time counting the rows, especially when they're little rows like this. So you can do a measurement. This is 16 inches from the shoulder to the bottom hem. And keep in mind, folks, that I have a very short torso. I'm very short, period. So if you want this longer, and it is designed to be on the short side, that's the way I designed this. But if you prefer it longer, just keep working your rows as long as you want. Make it as long as you want. There's no multiple to this. Nothing with the front and the back panel needs to be exact. Well, except that they both need to be the same, of course. So if you want this longer, make it longer. If when you are making your front and back panels, you're thinking it's way too wide, that's by design, because we are going to have a good sized drop sleeve coming down. Okay, so you need to have that extra width for the sleeve. Now for the cuffs, make 2. We're going to start with a chain of 45. And then we're going to work regular single crochets starting into the second chain from the hook. We are using the smaller hook for the cuffs. And you want to use a slightly tighter tension. If you already crochet tightly, then just go with that. I tend to crochet fairly relaxed. So for this I needed to go tighter because I want smaller stitches. Okay, so after you've got your row of regular single crochet, chain 1 and turn, then we're going to do back loop only single crochets for every row. Okay, so for that you're going to turn this toward you so that you're looking at those chains, and you're going to insert the hook into the center of your chain so that you're working that back loop for a regular single crochet. Okay, so insert it into the center of that chain, back loop, 2 loops on the hook, pull through 2 for a single crochet. Back loop, single crochet. So that's it. Work that all the way across the row. Now for the cuff, it's much easier to count the rows. We want 42 rows, and each of the rows that pops out counts as 2. So there's your first row, there's your second row. The third row is indented. There's your fourth row. Okay, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 42 rows. So this one is 10 inches wide. To seam the shoulders and the drop sleeve, you're going to put both panels on top of each other, or the one panel on top of the other, and you want this wrong sides up. So you will seam with the yarn needle and the length of yarn. So seam from the very end, the edge, all the way up to your stitch markers, which, by the way, it would help if I explained that. What you want to do is take your panel in half, find your center point, determine the width of your neck opening. I've got 9.5 inches. You can do 9.5, 10 inches. Place your stitch markers. So then you're going to be seaming from the end to the stitch marker. And I like to use a whip stitch. You can use whatever stitch you're comfortable with. After you have seamed your drop sleeve and shoulder, then you can bring in your cuff. You still want everything wrong sides up. You will find the center of your cuff and line it up to the center of your sleeve. And then you're going to seam right along here, using the same stitch that you used for your shoulder. And you do want to ensure that you're grabbing 2 stitches from each panel. After you have seamed the cuff to the sleeve, then we're going to seam about 1 inch on the edge and then down the cuff. Again, using the same stitch. So to make the turtleneck, we're going to do the exact same pattern that we did for the cuffs. The difference is we will start with a chain of 34, do your first row of single crochet, and then back loop only single crochets for the rest of the rows. And you can work for about 95 rows. Now when we are ready to seam, after you've done all your other seams, and I have not done mine yet, we're going to attach the turtleneck to the poncho. This time you want the poncho right side facing up. This is the right side. The turtleneck you want wrong side facing up. So this way when you fold it over, that's the right side. Okay, now what we're going to do, seam the bottom of the turtleneck to the back of the poncho. So you'll start at the edge, work your way over. Then when you get to the edge of your neckline, you will be seaming this to the top portion, or the panel that's facing you, so that you seam it all the way down here till you get to the beginning or the end, whatever you want to call it. Then you can seam the edge. So again, because this is on the wrong side, you can seam here. Then when you fold it over, the seam is hidden. And that's it. So it's just a matter of doing all the seaming, and then we're done. I do hope that you enjoyed this project as much as I did, and that you will give me a thumbs up down in the comments. Leave me a comment. That would be great. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. All of these things are super helpful to my channel, and this is a great way for you to support my work. Even better, of course, is if you would go out to my Etsy shop, crazycoolcrochet.us.etsy.com, and grab the pattern. Please be sure to come back for the next project. Thank you so much for watching.